talk to you about the boot camp today. I'm Rachel, by the way. My husband and I are traveling all over the country right now, and currently we're in Idaho, and we are leaving tomorrow. So I'm in my little Airbnb. All right, so I'm going to get started. I don't really have like a set agenda. I'm just going to talk a little bit about my boot camp and then open it up for Q&A for you guys if you have questions. And just to clarify, the purpose of this call is really to answer your questions about the boot camp. I won't be giving real estate investing advice or answering real estate investing questions. This is kind of just to help you decide whether it would be a good fit. So definitely, if you have questions, you can take yourself off mute. You can put them in the chat, whatever is easiest. You can go ahead and start dropping questions in the chat if you want. I'm also going to put the link in the chat to the course page, so you can have that pulled up if you would like. But again, thank you for joining me, and it's really nice to see you guys. Okay, so the purpose of the boot camp, I sent out a survey to my email list a couple months ago. You guys might remember it if you responded on it. But I basically asked, hey, what are your biggest challenges for real estate investing? And if you want to get invested, what are the things that are holding you back? And there was, of course, all different responses. But the main things I heard is that it's either you live in like a high cost of living area and it's impossible to find deals, or you want to invest out of state and you don't know how, or you just don't know how to find good deals where the numbers work. You don't know how to analyze the deals. And I agree with all those answers, by the way. The hardest part of real estate investing is absolutely finding a great deal, especially in this market, because it's sort of crazy right now. So I basically wanted to put together a real estate investing course specifically on that. There are a lot of courses out there. And at first I thought I'll do a course that covers everything from finding the deal to making an offer to financing, closing, finding the tenants, finding a property manager. But then I was like, whoa, that is a lot of stuff. And I truly think that if I wanted to do that thoroughly and well, where it would actually be adding value to you, it would be like a college semester class. And I think it would just be really overwhelming and intense. There's a lot of other people that do it. I just don't understand how they're able to get into the weeds enough. I feel like it must just be more of a high level overview, which is great. That helps a lot of people who are just starting out and just beginning and don't know a lot. But what I just always want to add the most value as possible as I can in anything that I do, which for me means getting really detailed and really specific so that you feel like you can walk out of it and take action and you're not left wondering, but how? How specifically do I do this? So that's why I wanted to focus just on finding and analyzing deals. Let's see, I see Karen on the call. Hi, Karen. I know you submitted a question. So let me pull up your question on my email real quick, and I'll address that. And you guys feel free to jump in. This is like a casual conversation. I don't have like a presentation planned or anything. You can drop questions in the chat or just shout out if you have anything to ask me. Okay, so Karen said, can you discuss the benefits of your course compared to the master course offered by Ken McElroy? And so let me pause that because I got a question in the chat. This meeting is being recorded because I did get a lot of requests from people who weren't able to make this Zoom call today who wanted to watch the recording. So that's why it's being recorded. I want to be able to send it out to other people in case they want to see what I had to say. Thank you for asking. Okay, so Karen wants me to discuss the benefits of my course compared to Ken McElroy's master course. Ken McElroy is like Robert Kiyosaki's best friend. They do a lot of stuff together with Rich Dad Poor Dad, so he's a really big deal and he's awesome. She said, I was watching your interview with him. Thank you for watching. What added value will I receive from your course? Okay, so I am pretty familiar with Ken's course, and he actually did ask me to be an affiliate for his course, and I did consider it, but for some of the reasons I just talked about, I just didn't feel like and he's great, by the way. He definitely knows what he's doing. He's a very trusted resource. Highly recommend his stuff. I just wanted to go a level deeper than what he was doing on his course. So I looked up his course. It looks like he has 11 lessons, and his 11 lessons are each a single 15-minute pre-recorded video. So it's 11 15-minute videos, and he kind of goes through everything, from start to finish when it comes to real estate investing. So he spends, it looks like 1 or 2 weeks on Here's how to narrow down the market that you're interested in and the demographic that you're interested in. And then he spends another 2 weeks on how to analyze the numbers. And again, those are 15-minute videos. So I just wanted to give you more information than that, basically. My course is 12 weeks long, and each week it's an hour-long call with me, and it's live. So I'm able to answer your questions as I go and clarify things if you guys have any questions. I also have 2 weeks with like office hours built in, where it's just an open-ended Q&A. So anybody can come to me and ask me anything, or like if somebody has a deal that they want me to look at, I can look at the deal and maybe analyze the deal in front of the class, as long as nobody else has questions. But I just wanted to be a lot more specific in the things that I was able to teach you. So Karen, does that answer your question, or do you have some follow-up questions on the differences? I don't know if you're there, but Karen, let me know if that answers your question. And hi, everybody who's joining. I'm Rachel. It's so nice to meet you. And thank you for joining and spending part of your weekend with me. I really appreciate that. Okay, Polly says, can you explain the course format and are the classes always recorded? Yes, let me go ahead and share my screen and we can look at the curriculum together. So let me see if I can do this. Okay. Can everyone see that? Okay, great. And feel free, again, if you have questions as you're coming on. I don't have like a formal presentation plan. This is just a casual convo. So feel free to ask me your questions or drop them in the chat. But my boot camp is a 12-week live boot camp. So 3-month live boot camp. And the focus is on finding and analyzing rental property deals. Specifically, like being able to invest out of state and find off-market deals. Because if all you're doing as an investor is looking at the MLS or looking at Zillow, you are not going to find good deals that way. That's hard to do even in not a crazy market, because everyone looks at the MLS. So it's really competitive. It's really saturated. You have to be willing to look for off-market deals and do some really creative things to start investing in real estate and to get this 12% returns. Okay, so let's see. Here's what's included in the course. It's taught live over the course of 3 months. You'll get one group Zoom call with me per week where I'm running the Zoom and teaching in detail all these different topics, which I'll go over. I'm also going to be using a case study as an example as we go. So I'm going to show you my very first deal that I did, and you'll see all the specifics of the numbers, how I found it, how I analyzed it, and what that all looks like. There's going to be a couple sessions for office hours where it's basically just an open-ended session and you can ask me any questions and I can give the group like personalized advice. I will be checking in for accountability. I'll be sending emails. You will get a free digital download of my second book, Passive Income Aggressive Retirement. And one of the biggest benefits is I have this Excel spreadsheet, which if not everyone has Excel, I can try to make sure that it works in Google Sheets, which is free. But I have this Excel spreadsheet that I've built out over the years, and it's how I analyze my rental properties. So I plug in all the numbers, I get all the estimates, and it spits out the cash flow and the cash on cash ROI. And that makes analyzing your deals very, very simple. Normally the calls are going to be on Thursdays at 12 o'clock Eastern. There are a couple exceptions. Sometimes it's like at 11 or 11:30. But normally they're at 12 o'clock Eastern, and all of the calls are going to be recorded. So if you don't want to attend the lives, or if you can't make one of the calls, you can watch the recordings afterwards. And you're going to have lifetime access to the call recordings, the cash flow analyzer, any of the course materials. Okay, so here's the curriculum. Let me pause there. Is anybody on the live call want to jump in and ask any questions or any other questions that you guys want to drop in the chat? Thanks again for joining me. See, there's quite a few people on here now, so it's good to see everybody. Let me make sure there's no other participants waiting. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. If you just hopped in, hi, I'm Rachel, and it's very nice to spend some time with you today. I'm in Idaho right now. Okay, so the course curriculum, week 1 is sort of an intro and an overview, and you're going to learn how to narrow down your focus and set some parameters. I'm going to tell you a little bit about like Airbnb versus long-term leasing. We're going to talk a little bit about long-distance landlording, the pros and cons. So we're just going to get into it in week 1. Week 2 is going to be about building your team. So whether you're investing in state or out of state, you have to have a team. I'm going to show you how to do that and get all the important people so that they can help you. Then we have basically 3 weeks that I'm going to spend going into detail about how to find good off-market deals. So I am going to show you how to utilize the MLS, because I think that's an easy thing and you should be getting sent listings automatically. But I'm going to really spend the majority of the time teaching you 9 different ways to find off-market deals, all of which I've personally done. So I have experience in all of these. So we're going to look at for online off-market deals, for sale by owner, short sales, pre-foreclosure leads, foreclosure auctions, real estate owned, networking, bandit signs, probate lists, and direct mail campaigns. And a lot of that might sound like, I don't even know what that stuff means, and that's fine. I'll explain that in depth during those weeks. And then of course we have a week in there that's built in for office hours and the case study. Then in the later part of the program, we are going to spend 2 weeks on analyzing deals. So I'm going to walk you through the cash flow analyzer in depth and show you how to use that. I'll show you how to calculate like your worst case and your break-even scenario and some things that you can think about as a buyer, like terms that you can negotiate that's going to make the numbers look better for you. Then in week 10, I'm going to spend some time on here are ways you can invest with less than 20% down. Now I'm going to touch on the BRRRR method and I'm going to touch on some of these different strategies. I'm not going to go in depth on here's how to do the BRRRR method and here's how it's done. I haven't personally done the BRRRR method. I'm very familiar with how it works. And again, the focus is on finding and analyzing deals rather than financing and renovating. And then we'll have another case study and a wrap up with next steps where I can kind of show you how to build out a plan, like a concrete plan to follow of, okay, I need to get this many rentals or I need to get this many units to hit my income goals. So that's the curriculum. I see Joshua. Hi, Josh. Joshua, I don't know which one you prefer. Hi. If I'm looking for my 3rd rental property and looking to find new and cool ways to invest, would you say this is a good course for me? So first, congrats on already having your first 2. That's amazing. Yes, I do think this will show you new ways to find deals, if that's what you're asking. So new ways to find good investments. Have you done any of these for sale by owner, short sale, foreclosure, real estate owned, bandit signs, probate lists? If some of those are new to you, I think you will learn a lot. And even in the other sections where I'm telling you how to analyze deals or how to invest with less than 20% down, I think even investors who already have 1 or 2 rental properties will take away a lot from what I'm teaching in those sections. So I do think you can take away a lot. You can just look at the curriculum and see. And Deanna says, I'm looking for my first home purchase to house hack with. That's amazing and exciting. I think this will help you because when you analyze a house hack, normally with a house hack, you intend to live in the property at first and eventually move out of the property. So normally with a house hack, it's always your primary residence. And so what you'll want to do when you actually analyze it is assume that you've moved out. So you want to analyze it assuming you have all of the tenants in there and you're already renting it out. And that's what I'll teach you how to do. And house hacking is very smart. So good for you for considering that. I'll be talking a little bit about that in week 10 as well. So you'll learn a little bit more.
What does that mean? House hack?
What was that, Rick?
What does house hack mean?
Good question. So house hacking is when it's a way to purchase an investment property with less than 20% down. So normally if you're purchasing an investment property, you have to put 20 or 25% down. But if you purchase a property as your primary residence, you can put 3.5% down with an FHA loan or 5 to 10% down with just a normal conventional loan and pay PMI. But the benefit is that you don't have to have as much money up front to buy it. Normally with a house hack, you either move in and you live there on your own and you fix it up and then you refinance it and rent it out. Or you can purchase a triplex, for example, live in 1 unit and rent out the other 2 units. And so you're living in as your primary residence, you're offsetting a lot of your expenses. You can save a lot more money that way and eventually move out and purchase the next property. So that's house hacking in a nutshell, but I'll go into more detail in the course. Great question. What else? And if anyone has questions on like what these different methods are, I'm happy to give like an overview so you understand what they are. Um, what other questions do you guys have?
Hi, I have a question. Sorry, I'm traveling and hiking right now, so I'm gonna
Oh, good for you.
but
Yay.
I wanted to join.
Thank you.
Do you think it's realistic to believe that from the start to finish of the course, someone can find like an out-of-state like triplex, a house hack, and like have a deal in motion by the end of the course? Or is it more like, do you see it as more like giving all the tools to someone could then start
Okay, great question,
looking?
Jamie. Yes. So it depends. It just depends on how hard you're willing to work. But by week 6, so by the time we're halfway through, you'll have learned everything about how to find good deals. So if you're able to take action immediately and start implementing some of these things, there is a possibility you could find a deal by the end of the 12 weeks. I won't say it's like easy or that that's guaranteed. I mean, by no means is this stuff easy, but you could if you take action quickly. I will say it took me 9 months to find my first deal, but part of the problem is that I was looking at the MLS. So it wasn't until I started looking at ways to find off-market properties that I was able to speed the process up and find deals more quickly. So it depends on where you're looking, how much action you're willing to take, how motivated you are, how hard you're going to work. I think it's possible. So let me know if that answers your question or if you have any.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, and then Rachel says, hi, Rachel. At the end of the course, where would a participant be if I wanted to invest in my first property and actively participated? Where would I be in the process? Does the course leave the participant with tools and understanding to then go purchase, or does it finish at the time of purchase? So the course finishes at the time of purchase, and that's because, again, I really want to go in depth on how to find off-market deals in this 12 weeks so that you specifically understand what to do. Because I feel like a lot of other courses or programs just list like, oh, here's 9 ways to find off-market deals. Here's what they are. And here's kind of, how they work so you understand. And then you're left wondering, well, how do I make that happen? What do I actually do? And you don't really get a lot of actionable advice. So that's why I wanted to get really specific in that. I certainly could have extended the course into all of the topics after the time of purchase, like going through the transaction, doing the inspection, doing the renovation, finding and screening tenants, finding a property manager, but then it would turn into like a 52-week course. And I think that's a little much of a commitment. So at some point I might do like a part 2 and have a separate part for that. But at this time, this course ends at the time of purchase, essentially. So by the end of the course, my goal for you is that you have a lot of confidence where you're able to look at any deal, analyze it quickly, and understand whether it's a good deal or not. You're able to generate so many different leads and investment properties to look at that you like almost don't have time to even analyze them all, because you're doing all these creative ways to find off-market deals and you have tons of potentially good deals to look at. That's the hardest part. So I want you to have confidence to be able to do that and go out and find that first deal and make an offer. Okay, then I have a question that says, I'm looking at my first investment property right now. Can I treat it as a primary home and put less than 20% down? I'm currently living in a condo, house hacking, which is my primary right now. Yes, when you buy a investment property as a primary residence and you live there, then you can put 20% down. And I'll be touching on that in week 10. That's one of the ways that you can invest. That's called house hacking, essentially. So that's one of the ways you can invest with less than 20% down. Amelia says, hi, Amelia, thanks for joining. Are all of the Zooms during the workday? I'd love to participate, but cannot in the middle of the day. I know you said the recordings will be available. If not, would you make a just recordings version available? So yes, so all of these Zooms are during the workday. Generally, they're all going to be on Thursdays at 12 o'clock Eastern. So I try to time it where it's sort of during lunch hour, but I know everyone's on different time zones, so that's impossible. But if you cannot attend the live calls or you're going to have to miss the live calls, you are going to get access to the recordings after the fact. And if you have questions where you wish that you would have the opportunity to ask me on a live call, you can certainly submit them to me beforehand, especially during week 4 and week 8 with the office hours. I'll be able to take a lot of questions there. So you can even submit it to me ahead of time so I can address it on the live call and still give you that personalized one-on-one help. So there is that. And then no, put less than 20% down on an investment property by house hacking and make my current condo the investment property. Okay, so if you live in a primary residence now, there's some lender rules around this. You have to normally live in your primary residence for like 1 or 2 years before you move out and turn it into investment property. So as long as you've lived in your condo for long enough, then yes, you can move out, you can rent that out, and then you can house hack and put less than 20% down on a different primary residence. So let me know if that answers your question. I know that's a slightly complex scenario, but yes, that is definitely possible. What other questions do you guys have? Anything else? I'll stay on for as long as you guys have questions and as long as you want to talk to me. I'm excited to do this program. There's a lot of knowledge in my brain that I want to get into your brain. Any other questions? I will keep going through my sales page and kind of giving you some more info. Polly says, what is the course fee? So what I'm doing for this, normally when I first launch a program and I'm doing the very first round, I'm doing it at a discount. So it will not be this price after this initial round. It'll be going up in price. But the beta version is open for enrollment at $4.99 a month for 3 months. Or if you choose to pay in full, I do build in a 10% price break where it's $1,349. So that's the course fee. And basically the way I look at that is I want this course fee to save you time and to save you money. Because yes, you could figure this out all on your own. You could do it on your own. You could mentor and network and learn from other investors or shadow other investors. That's essentially what I did. It took me years to figure all this stuff out. So this is basically giving you all the information quickly so that you can take action now and get invested now. And my intention is to save you from making costly mistakes. So as I said down here, if this class can spare you from buying the wrong rental property, which a lot of first-time investors do because they don't know how to analyze them, then it could save you from making a 6-figure mistake. So that's what I want to do. I want to help you save you from making those mistakes. I don't have a promo for people who attend this call. This is the price, $4.99 a month for 3 months, or the $13.49. That's basically the price break if you choose to pay in full. Any early recommendations on securing lending? I will talk briefly about lending in week 10. I'm not going to go into detail about finding financing, but I'm going to spend a whole hour on ways to invest with less than 20% down in week 10. And if everyone could put themselves on mute for now, I'm going to go through and mute some people just because we're getting some background noise. Unless you want to ask a question, you can take yourself off mute, but let me mute. Okay, there we go. Mute. All right, there you go. Feel free to take yourself off mute to ask a question. I would love to talk to you guys so instead of talking to myself the whole time. I'm very happy to see all of you. Okay. Deanna says, will you offer another time? I'd like to complete when actually in the market, which will likely be next spring. I probably will run this course again. I don't know when it's going to happen because I have some other ideas of things I want to put out this year. So I don't know when the next round will be. I don't know if I'll do another one this year or if it's going to be next year. But so right now, that's kind of the best answer I can give you, which is that probably, yes, I will run it again. I'm hoping that it'll become a consistent thing that I do. I might eventually turn it into like a recorded video course rather than running it live each time, but at least on this one, I will be running it live. So, and then Amelia says, will this course help find deals in extremely competitive areas? Yes. The problem with extremely competitive areas, especially California, and there's other places in the US, but the problem is that everyone's looking at the MLS and Zillow to find deals. And there's so many people trying to find property right now, even just to purchase it as a primary residence. They're scooping everything up and there's like no good deals out there on the MLS. So it's nearly impossible. if you want to find good deals, you have to be willing to do two things. You have to be willing to invest out of state, and you have to be willing to do the work to find off-market deals. I never want to give the impression that finding good deals is easy, because it takes time and effort, and you have to be willing to do things. You have to be willing to go out there and drive around and maybe even knock on doors, maybe go to the courthouse to get probate leads. Like, these are all the things that I did. So you definitely have to be willing to do those things if you want to find them. If you're willing to do those and consider investing out of state, then yes, I absolutely can help you find great investment deals. They definitely exist out there. So Amelia, yes, to answer your question. Polly says, is a kid who's just out of college too inexperienced for the course? He'd be a total beginner. No. So I designed this for beginners. And I think that there are so many investors out there that already own one or two rental properties that would still gain tremendous value from this, because there are just things that they don't even know that they don't know. But it is designed for beginners. So I think this would be great for a college student. Amelia says Northern Virginia is a bloodbath right now. Everything going 100 to 200K over ask. Yes, it's like that in so many places. That's why you have to do some of these creative ways to find deals. Otherwise, that is the scenario you're going to be in.
Rachel,
Okay.
Is that also why you said you got to be willing to go out of state? Because if it gets overheated in an area, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if you're in California, I don't even recommend necessarily spending time trying to look there. Like, I think it's just going to be so much easier looking somewhere else. You can try these methods for sure in California, because no one's doing these. Everyone's just looking on the MLS, and it's driving up prices and competition a lot. But yes, that's why I think you have to be willing to invest out of state.
Well, you mentioned in another chat how difficult it was for you to go to the county courthouse and go through the probate records and all that sort of thing. Is there a way to do that long distance?
Yeah, so there's two ways to find probate leads. One is doing them yourself, and one is networking and finding people that have those lists. So I'll teach how to do both of those. Great question. I'm going to try to teach, like, here's how to do this. Here's how to do the probate thing and to do this other method. And here's how to do it if you're out of state. So here's how to do it from long distance. So I'm going to show you both ways as much as I can for all of this. Okay, Kaylee says, I bought your book. Thank you, Kaylee. I appreciate that. Haven't finished yet. Does this course contain more or different information than the book? Oh my gosh, yes. This is so much more than the book. The book gives you kind of an overview of, like, hey, here's what a probate is. Here's what it means to put up bandit signs. So you kind of get the what. This course teaches you the how. So, like, step by step, what do you actually have to do to go out and do that and to generate leads and to find really good deals. So yeah, this is going to be a whole nother level than the book, for sure. Thank you for asking. Rebecca says, will you teach / recommend investing in rentals using an LLC? I'm not planning on talking about purchasing the property and all the intricacies that go into that. I want to get you to the point where you find a property, you analyze it, and you know it's a good deal and you want to make an offer. And so that's what I intend to get through in terms of, like, where you are in the investor journey. Just to briefly touch on that now, though, I do have all of my properties in LLCs. When you're starting out as a new investor, it's hard to do. So a lot of the times you do need to buy it in your personal name. A lot of investors will quit claim deed it into an LLC. There are some risks with that, but that's what most people do, to answer your question. And thank you for the question. Rachel says, follow up, do you have a recommendation on how to do everything you mentioned in part 2? If part 2 won't exist by the end of the program, or what to do next after the course ends? Brand new to everything. So in the course, I am including a digital download of my book, Passive Income, Aggressive Retirement. And there's a whole section on real estate investing. So there is some overview there on all the next steps, basically, you know, making the offer, managing the tenants, finding a property manager. So you'll get an overview from the book. And as a beginner, I do think that will help you a lot. It's not going to be like on the same level as this course, but that can give you some direction and get you started. Thank you for asking. What else? These are great questions, guys. Thank you so much for asking questions. What else? Or if you have, yes.
Rachel, this is GK.
Hi, GK.
follow up with the follow up for the earlier situation I talked about.
Yes.
Just wanted to clarify that 20% rule, if you can. The
Yes.
first property I thought of buying, I did not buy it as a primary residence. I had no idea what the difference was. I just
Okay.
got the property and I lived there for a couple of months. At the end of the year, I came to know there's something called homestead for the
Okay.
primary residency and all that. So I used that. Right now it's on there.
You're breaking up a little, for me at least. Are you still there? Maybe that's my connection.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. That might have been me. Sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, so currently I'm not living there. I moved out and my friends are living there. And right now I'm looking at another property as an investment. Just live in, but they said I can only I can only buy it as an investment. Can I switch it up, make this my primary resident and look for a loan and put less than 20% down? Because
Yes.
in this crazy market, I see it will go away fast.
Okay.
Only chance I can buy it and on a safe side without putting too much cash. I need some cash on the buffer just for my payments or in case there are any repairs. So I'm willing to like maybe 5 or 10% instead of 20%. Is it possible to make this my primary residence? And since I already have the other one in the loan as a primary residence, can I?
Yes. So normally, if you already have a primary residence, which is this condo, you normally have, but did you say you bought it as a primary residence or as an investment property? Because the lender would have asked. And
The first one, I bought it as a primary residence.
okay. So normally you have to live in that property for at least a year or like own it for at least a year. So have you lived there for a year?
So I bought that in 2019 December.
Okay, so if
Putting
if
5% down.
that has been your primary residence for at least a year, you should be able to now purchase another property as your primary residence. I would talk to your initial lender just to be sure, and they'll give you clarification, but normally that's how it works.
Okay, because the math is scary when I have to put down 20%, but it makes a little easy to
Yes. Yeah, it
put
makes
less
more
down.
sense if you can put less than that down. So yeah, I would definitely try to buy the next one as your primary residence. Just check with your current lender. Great question.
Okay.
Yeah. What else, everybody? What other questions? I can keep kind of showing what's on this page. And if you have other questions, you can unmute yourself or put it in the chat, and I'm happy to answer anything you got for me. So I do have a section here. Who's this bootcamp for? Who is this bootcamp not for? This is intended for beginner investors in the US who are interested in buy and hold residential real estate. Now, if you live out of the country, if you're in Canada, I do think you'll get a lot of valuable information at a high level, strategy, ways to find off-market deals that you can do even in Canada or wherever you are. It's going to be a little bit different depending on where you are. And some of the specific strategy and advice and financing methods or stuff about taxes, that's going to be specific to the US. So you can still, I think, gain a lot of value if you live out of the country, just not quite as much as a US investor. This is also for people who are wanting help on finding and analyzing rental property. And it is for motivated students, because if all you want to do is like sit on your couch and look at MLS deals, you're not going to find good deals, and you're going to be really unhappy with me because you're not going to find good deals. And that's what I want you to find. So you need to be willing to do what I'm teaching you. Who it's not for, I'm not going to be teaching investors who already have rental properties how to find tenants and manage their property. We're not going to really get into that. I'm not going to talk about financing or renovating. I'm not going to talk about flipping houses or investing in commercial property. And this also is not for people who want a shortcut or magic bullet, because unfortunately there are no shortcuts. And if someone tells you there are, that person should not be listened to or should not be trusted. Here are some of the questions I get asked a lot. And again, if you guys have more questions, drop them in the chat. It sounds like we're slowing down a little bit on questions, so I'll probably just go for 10 more minutes or so. But let's see, if you can't make one of the live Zoom calls, all of the calls are going to be recorded and sent out afterwards. So you don't necessarily need to be on the live calls. You can treat it as more of a self-paced course, and you can take it that way. You do have lifetime access, so you're going to get all of the recorded Zoom calls, all of the documents and the course materials that I share with you forever. If you are not at the point where you're wanting to buy a rental property now, should you still sign up for the course? I think this would be a fantastic thing for you to sign up for right now, because it can take time to find a good deal. So the earlier you can start learning about how to find good deals, the better. And then by the time you're ready, like, you will be able to analyze deals so quickly and confidently, like you'll feel like you'll know what you're doing and you'll be able to find a deal very fast. Let's see. I'm going to touch a little bit on short-term rentals and how to analyze them, although the focus of the course will be on like a long-term traditional rental. And Rachel said, is there a range of how much money someone needs in order to invest? If looking to invest out of state, how much does someone need on average? 20K, 50K, et cetera. In the past, when you've coached people, is there an average? Yeah, it's just a wide variety, because if you can find, for example, I'm going to talk a little bit about finding a silent partner. If you can partner with somebody in network and they can front the money, you might not have to put any of your own money into the deal at all. So that would be like $0 investment. Normally that happens if someone has a lot of money and not a lot of time, and then you're willing to maybe even put sweat equity, manage the property, spend the time finding the property, and then you wouldn't need to front any money. Or if you are willing to do house hacking, then let's say you're looking at a $400,000 house. Of 20%, what is 20% of 400,000? Somebody help me. 80 grand. So you would need 80 grand if you were going to buy that property as an investment property. But if you do house hacking, I will show you what that is and teach you how to do it. And you could put as little as 3.5% down potentially with an FHA loan, or 5% down with a VA loan. Of course, it depends on whether what your closing costs are and whether you're going to need to put money into renovations. But assuming it is a move-in ready, let me do the math on that. 5% down of 400,000 is 20 grand. So that's another example. So there are ways to get your initial investment down to zero or low. There's not like an average that I've seen, because it is such a big variety. But does that help at least give you some like context and some idea? If you have a follow-up question, let me know. That helps. Thank you. Okay, good. Okay. What else? So I went over the pricing, why you should join. I put some testimonials on this page of what it's like to work with me. I obviously don't have testimonials from this boot camp yet, because this is the first time I'm doing it, but these are from some past students in my other courses and just people who have learned a lot about real estate investing from me. So what else, guys? What do you still have questions on? What would help make this like an easy decision for you one way or another? I don't want to talk you into this if it's not the right thing. Is there anything holding you back, or that you're concerned about, or that you're hesitant on? And if there is, you can shout it out or drop it in the chat. My goal is not to like talk you into this if it's not the right fit. I've already turned somebody away. So Rachel says, you mentioned your books. Do those cover renovation costs and how to find good contractors? Yes, my second book, which you're going to get for free with this boot camp, touches on that. It's not like it's not the same in-depth information you're going to get from the boot camp, but it's a good start. And I can recommend other resources too. There's a lot of good books about those topics. Alejandra, thank you for joining. I missed the pricing. Can you please do a recap? Yes. Whenever I launch a new program like this, I always make the first round discounted, and then the pricing increases from there. So it's not going to be this price ever again. If you get in on it now, this will be the lowest that you will be able to purchase it for. So the price is $4.99 a month for 3 months. And I do build in a price break if you choose to pay in full. So if you pay in full, you essentially get a 10% discount, and it's $13.49. So that is the price of the course. Thank you for asking. Dana says, just the investment, trying to build up my savings. I think the course would be worth it. Love your passive income book, which is how I found you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I hear you on the investment. I used to be stubbornly unwilling to invest in things like this because I was always like, oh, that's so much money, I'll just figure it out on my own. And I certainly have. I have successfully figured a lot of this out on my own, but it took me years. And I have made costly mistakes. And basically, if you want to be able to speed up this process and get the information quickly and be able to hit the ground running, that's what you're essentially paying for. You're going to learn from me. I'm going to transfer all the knowledge in my brain from 10 years into your brain. And I will save you, hopefully, from making a bad investment. So that's basically what you're paying for. I hope that helps. I would love to have you in the course, but I don't want it to be a financial burden. So I totally understand. What else? Anything else? Any concerns? Any other questions? If not, I will. Rachel says, will there be a Discord or Slack community to ask questions? No, what I'm going to be doing is, where is my, oh, there it is. So what I'm going to be doing is building in office hours. So 2 of the weeks, week 4 and week 8, are just going to be open-ended Q&A sessions. So that's 2 full hours that you guys will have with me to ask me your questions or ask each other questions. And it can be an open discussion. We can be bouncing ideas off one another. I'll be taking questions then. So you can kind of save up your questions for that. And that's the best opportunity where I can give you personalized advice. Thank you for asking. Great question. Okay. And on those office hours, by the way, I'm going to make sure, if you're signing up for this course, you obviously want to learn from me, not from the other members. So I'm going to try to set it up where I encourage people to submit their questions ahead of time. That way I can quickly address your questions and get through everybody's. And you're not going to be bogged down hearing other people's, I'm not going to let people go on and on telling us their monologue or their details or whatever. I'm going to be very concise. I'm going to make sure we get through everybody's questions on those Zoom calls. So just to clarify how those are going to work. Dominique says, can't wait to start this week. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving the overview of the course. Yes, I'm very, very excited to have you guys. By the way, I do already have 10 signups. I have more than 10 signups. So part of what I put in here is that if I don't get 10 signups, I'm not going to proceed with the course. So I want you to know it's definitely happening. The first class starts this Thursday. We're going to hit the ground running. I'm definitely going to move forward with it at this point. So anything else, anybody? Any other questions? Anything I can address? Oh, Rachel says, once the course is over, do we have access to ask questions or share experience with other people who took the course and ask each other questions? That's a good question. You won't have access to me after the course is over. But I would have to get everyone's permission that they're willing to be connected with one another. Or if someone does want to be connected and stay in touch with the other students in the course, as long as I have both people's permission, I can certainly set up to let you guys connect with one another so that you can partner up even after the course. That's a great idea. You could be accountability partners with each other, stay in touch. Of course, I want to stay updated on your progress too. So you'll have to let me know how you're doing with everything. Anything else? Yes, thank you, Rachel. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up unless I get a last minute question. If you, after this call, you're like, oh, I forgot to ask her that, feel free to email me, moneyhoneyrachel@gmail.com. I'm going to put that in there. And then I'm going to drop the link one more time. So go ahead and save this link and you can pull it up if you do want to go ahead and sign up. But I hope that helps clarify. Again, this isn't a sales pitch. This was just me answering your questions so you can really determine if this is the best fit for you. I don't want you to sign up unless you're excited to make this investment and you feel like, yes, this is what I need. I'm not trying to push people into this who it might not be the right fit for. So And then Richard says, did you say we will or won't have access to you after the course? You will not have access to me after the course any more than you would like right now. Sometimes I try to answer questions on like Instagram, but it's not, there's no like one-on-one coaching including afterwards. I do have packages for that you could work with me separately after the course if you want. But once we get through the 12 weeks, then the course ends. And Amelia said, is there a cap on the number of participants? I don't think I'll get to the point where I would need to cap it. I mean, I don't think I would want more than like 30 people in it, but I think I probably won't get that many. So I'm going to say there's probably no need for a cap right now. I think we'll end up with like 20 people if I had to guess in the course, which is a great, like that's a perfect size. I love that size. Okay, great. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna let you get back with your day. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Sunday. Like that means so much to me to spend time with me. I hope this has been helpful. And it's been so nice getting to interact with you in person and to see some of your faces. So thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. I hope I see you in the course. It's gonna be a blast and I think you'll get a lot of value from it. But other than that, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday evening and I will talk to you guys later. Bye everybody. Thank you. Bye, everybody.